let's start with the chapter of coordinate geometry. Now, what is coordinate geometry? What is this chapter all about? So, coordinate geometry, I'll just label it CG. This is about points. It's about the x-axis and the y-axis. It's about the distance between the points. It's about length of line segment. It's about midpoints. It's about slope. It's about equation of line. It's about parallel and perpendicular lines. So that's what this chapter is all about. And naturally, a little bit of triangle concepts is also there. Now, if we talk about this chapter, let me draw the x-axis and the y-axis first. So this is the y-axis. This is the x-axis. If I label this point, this is known as the origin. Along the x-axis, if I label a point somewhere over here, 1, and let me label this thing as 1, and then 2, and then 3, and then 4, and similarly 1, 2, 3, and 4. Let me label a point 3, 4. This is point A. And let me label a point over here, which is 1, 1. And let me interchange the name. This is A and this is B. And if I join these 2 points, I get a line. So a line segment, it is part of a line. A line is infinitely long, whereas a line segment has a finite length. Now, what else is there? I can find the midpoint of AB. Let me label this as M. I can find coordinates of M. I can find the length of this line segment. I can find the slope of this line. I can find the equation of line segment AB. Now, let us get started with the formulas first. That is, let me label in general, and then we will go to this question. If I label this is X, this is Y, there is a point A over here. The coordinates are X1 and Y1. There is another point B over here. The coordinates are X2 and Y2. First of all, if I talk about length of line segment AB, that is the same thing as distance between 2 points, which in this case is A and B. Now, what I can do is that let me draw a horizontal line like this. Let me draw a vertical line like this. Now, if I label this y coordinate as y1 and this y coordinate as y2, so therefore, the height of this over here, this is y2 minus y1. Similarly, if this is labeled as x1, and let me grab an eraser over here, and let me just erase these extra points. And if I label this thing as x2, therefore, this base over here, that equals to x2 minus x1. So this height is y2 minus y1, base is x2 minus x1. And if I join it like this, actually, let me grab the marker. So if I join it like this, what is this? This is the hypotenuse of a right angle triangle. So this AB is the hypotenuse. This is the height. This is the base. We know that hypotenuse square is equals to base square plus height square. Now, hypotenuse square is AB square, base square is x2 minus x1 whole square, height square is y2 minus y1 whole square. So therefore, AB is equals to square root x2 minus x1 whole square. This is y2 minus y1 whole square, the whole thing under root. That is how we get the formula for length of the line segment AB as well as the distance between 2 points AB. So that's how the distance formula came into being. Now I can apply the same knowledge over here. And what I can do is that, let me draw a dotted line like this. Let me draw a vertical line like this over here. This is 1, this is 3, this base is 2 units, this is 4, this is 1, this height is 3 units. So therefore, AB, without using any formula, I can use Pythagoras also. That is 2 square plus 3 square under root, which is 4 plus 9 under root, which comes out to be square root of 30. This basically is x2 minus x1. This is y2 minus y1. So without writing the formula as such, without writing this out, I have just done the subtraction and then square the base, square the height, and then I am getting this answer, which is square root of 13 units. Now, let me again draw this line like this. This is A, this is B. The coordinates are x1, y1, and the coordinates of B are x2, y2. And there is a midpoint over here, let's call it M, such that AM is the same thing as MB. The length AM is the same thing as MB. This sign over here, that refers to as the magnitude. The length of AM is the same thing as length of MB. So in order to find the coordinates of M, just remember M is based upon the idea of average. So it's the average of x1 and x2. So this is x1 plus x2 divided by 2. It's the average of y, which is y1 plus y2 divided by 2. That is how you get this thing. Now, what else is there? We can talk about the slope. That's also known as inclination. That is also known as gradient. It's also known as rise over run. Now, let me draw this line again. Now, this point is x1 and y1. This point is x2 and y2. And let me draw a horizontal blue line like this. Let me draw a vertical green line like this. Let me erase this extra stuff from here. And this base, this is height. This base is the difference between x1 and x2. So that is x2 minus x1. This height is the difference between y1 and y2. Actually, it's y2 minus y1, bigger minus the smaller. Therefore, what are we getting at? We are saying that the inclination is rise over run. The slope is rise over run. This height is the rise, the change in y. This run is the base. So let me write this thing as run. Height is known as the rise. So this one is the rise. This one is the change in y. Run, that is the change in x. So therefore, the formula for inclination is rise over run. And what is the rise? Rise is the change in y, which is y2 minus y1. Let me use the purple color. This is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. This is the inclination. We label it by the symbol m. That is what we are getting at. Now, let me just have a quick look and double check that is this all good or okay. Now, let's talk about some more examples related to gradient. Now, first of all, let me draw four possible kind of lines. I'm drawing a red line like this. I'm drawing a blue line like this. I'm drawing a purple line going this way. I'm drawing a green line going this way. There are four possible lines that I've drawn. Let me label some coordinates. Let me label this thing as P and Q. And this coordinate is 3, 1. This is 7, 1. Let me label over here. This is something like PQR and S. This is 5, 2. And this is 5, 8. Over here, let me label this thing as 0, 1. And this is 5, 11. Over here, let me label this thing as 6, 13. And this is 10, negative 1. So let me label this thing as A, this is B, this is C, and this is D over here. Now, first of all, if I look at this orange line over here, so this orange line over here, I can say it's a horizontal line. A horizontal line is one in which the y coordinate is unchanged. That's the first thing that I'm writing. If I look at the blue line, what do I observe? This blue line is a vertical line. So in a vertical line, the x coordinate is unchanged. So these are two very crucial observations that I've made. So over here, this is what the x coordinate is unchanged. That is the x coordinate. That is the x coordinate. Similarly, the y coordinate is unchanged. The y coordinate is unchanged. Now, if I apply the formula, gradient, this is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Gradient is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Let me just shift these two a little bit below. And let me do the working. So over here, for gradient of PQ, this is 1 minus 1 over 7 minus 3. What I'm doing is that I'm subtracting these two. I'm subtracting these two. So this is y2 minus y1. This is 1 minus 1. It's the same. And this is x2 minus x1, which is 7 minus 3. Therefore, this comes out to be 0 over 4, and 0 divided by any number is 0. So remember the rule, 0 divided by any number is always 0. I'll make you understand the logic a little bit later. You can put it in the calculator, and this is what you're getting. Similarly, over here, if I am talking about the x coordinate being the same, so I can do the subtraction like this. 8 minus 2, that is y2 minus y1. So this is 8 minus 2 divided by x2 minus x1, which is 5 minus 5. So this is 6 over 0. And remember that 6 over 0, any number divided by 0, this is always undefined. You cannot define it. The calculator will write it as a math error, and you simply write That infinity, that's close to it, that's always undefined, infinite. So always remember, a horizontal line, it will have a zero slope, and similarly, a vertical line will have undefined slope. Now, is this thing all good? Is this thing all clear? So this is undefined slope. Now, why is 0 divided by 4 always 0? Why is 6 divided by 0 always undefined? Let me explain this on the same page, and let me take these two to the next page. So let me cut it. Let me paste it over here. And let me go back over here. Now, let me explain this idea this way. Let's say, let 0 divided by 4 equals to a constant k. Therefore, 0 is k times 4. Is there anything in the world that can make a 4 become 0? The answer is yes. If k is 0, 0 into 4 will make it 0. So the answer of k is 0. So therefore, 0 divided by any number is always 0. That is the first thing. That is the first logic. Let me apply the second logic. The second logic over here, if I write, let 6 divided by 0 equals to a value, let's call it m. Well, m is for gradient. So let me write this thing as c. 6 is equals to 0 multiplying with c. Is there any number in the world that can convert a 0 into 6? So we have not yet found anything as such. So therefore, we will say that this is undefined. So therefore, any number divided by 0, we write this thing as undefined. We write this thing as infinity. So I hope this logic is very, very crystal clear. There is also another thing, another way of understanding. If you have nothing, how can you divide it in two parts? You simply cannot. So this is 0. And if you have 6 things and you divide into 0 parts, how can you divide 6 into 0 parts? That is undefined, but this is more interesting logic. So just acknowledge on the WhatsApp that if this thing is all good, the knowledge that any number divided by 0, so it's division by 0 and something like that. So this is all good. And this is the knowledge that we found. Now, let me focus on this line over here. Let me take it here. Let me grab this thing and attach it over here. So now this thing also goes over here, and then this is A and this is B and something like this. Let me just erase this. And this is B over here. Now the gradient of AB, that is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So now make a habit of writing the points in such a manner. Write any point at the top, write any point at the bottom, and do the subtraction this way, like this. 11 minus 1. That goes like this. And then we have 5 and 0. Again, we are going like this. What is 11 minus 1? That is 10. 5 minus 0 is 5. This is a positive value, which is 2. So the gradient of this line is 2. What does it mean? It means that 2 means 2 over 1. That means you go 2 units to the right and you would climb up by 1 unit. That is what a positive gradient means. You go 2 units to the right, you would rise up by 1 unit. It's not a scale diagram. Keep that in mind. That is what the gradient means. So any line that's going like this up, this will have a positive slope. You are climbing up. And over here, a line going like this will have a negative slope. So let me calculate the gradient of CD. That's also y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Again, make a habit. Let me just push it on the side. Make a habit of writing down the points. That is 6 and 13 and 10 and negative 1. Let me go in this direction like this. So this is 13 minus minus 1. So this is 13 minus minus 1 divided by, this is 6 minus 10. This is 6 minus 10. Now the numerator is positive, which is 14. The denominator is negative, which is negative 4. So this comes out to be negative 7 over 2. That is the slope of the line CD. And positive 2 was the slope of the line AB. So that's how the slopes are calculated. Now I can make a simple exam type question. Something like this. Let me give you a line with a slope like this. I'll just wait for the azan. Now we can make an exam type question. Something like this is A, that is 1, 3. This is B, that is small b, comma 11. Gradient of this line is positive 2. So this is exam type question, and they are interested in finding B. Now we have to use the gradient formula. Gradient of AB, this is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Write the coordinate b, comma 11. Write the coordinate 1, 3. Go in one particular order from top to bottom. So therefore, this is 11 minus 3. That is y2 minus y1. And again, top to bottom, which is b minus 1. And this equals to positive 2. So therefore, 2 equals to 8 over b minus 1. 2b minus 2 equals to 8. 2b equals to 10. B comes out to be 5. So therefore, the x coordinate of this point is 5. That's a simple question that I have done. Similarly, let me explain to you the concept of equation of a line. So if we talk about equation of a line, we use the standard form y is equals to mx plus c. M stands for the slope, inclination, gradient, rise over run, and c is known as the y-intercept. Now, what is y-intercept? The point where line cuts y-axis. For example, let's make some cases out of this. Case number 1. You are given a slope, you are given y-intercept, and you are supposed to find equation of line. For example, if I say the slope is plus 3, the y-intercept is 5, therefore, the equation of a line is y is equals to mx plus c. This 3 goes over here, this 5 goes over here, and you simply write y is equals to 3x plus 5. That's all what you do. You just plug and chug. You just plug in the point, and then you get the equation. This is case number 1. Now let's move to case number 2. So case number 2 could be you are given points and you find the slope first, and then you find the y-intercept. So this is case number 2. For example, I have 0, 1, a point A. I have point B, which is 5, 11. And one more thing, where the line cuts the y-axis, that is the y-intercept. So where the line cuts the y-axis, we know that x-coordinate is 0. Basically, over here, when the x-coordinate is 0, this value is the y-intercept. So I can figure it out that C comes out to be 1. Now, let me draw a small diagram to illustrate this idea. So the line is coming like this, and this point is 0, 1. This is point A, and this point is B, which is 5, 11. So this is y-axis, this is x-axis. Remember the rule, line cuts y-axis, therefore x-coordinate is 0. Line cuts x-axis, therefore y-coordinate is 0. Something very, very important. Let me highlight this. Line cuts y-axis, x-coordinate is 0. Line cuts x-axis, y-coordinate is 0. It's the opposite. Also, we know that all along the line, all along the x-axis, the y-coordinate is unchanged. The y-coordinate is 0, so the equation of x-axis is y is equals to 0. Similarly, all along the y-axis, the x-coordinate is 0, so the equation is x is equals to 0. Remember these two golden rules. So coming back to this question, if I have these 2 points given like this, and let me just grab it and write it over here. So we have the point A, we have the point B. We got this idea that yes, if this point is given, so the y-intercept is C equals to 1. So therefore, this is obvious. And if I calculate the gradient of AB, that is 1 minus 11 over 0 minus 5. 1 minus 11 is negative 10. 0 minus 5 is negative 5. This comes out to be plus 2. So therefore, y is equals to mx plus c. Y is equals to 2x plus 1. And that is how we get equation of line. So this is bit of calculation that is required. That's case number 2. Case number 2 is y-intercept was obvious. That was already given. That was in the face. All you had to do was to calculate the slope. So slope, yes, calculation was required. And y-intercept was very, very obvious. What do you think is case number 3? So let me write case number 3 over here. And in case number 3, we will simply say points given and step 1. That is, first find M, step 2. Then find C, step 3. Then write down the equation. Now, for example, if I choose the point Q, that is 3, 1, 4. 3x plus 1. So let me write 5, 15, 15, 16. And let me write R, which is 15, 16. I'm just generating some points in my head. So this is Q, this is R. This is what is given to you. And step 1, that is calculate gradient of QR. Go in a particular direction. 4 minus 16. We are going from top to bottom. That is the rule that I apply. So this is 4 minus 16. That is the numerator. And the denominator is 1 minus 15. So what do we have? 4 minus 16, that is negative 12. And 1 minus 15, that is negative 14. I think, let me just double check one thing. 3 into 1 plus 1 and 3 fives are 15. So this is not 15, 16. This is 5 and 16. My bad. Let me just correct it. So this is 5 and 16. So let me just highlight it like this. And let me just change this thing over here. So now let me go back to this. So this is 1 minus 5. We are going in this direction. So therefore, 4 minus 16, that is negative 12. 1 minus 5, that is negative 4. After division, this comes out to be 3. That's the first thing that's found. Now, step 2 is write down the equation y is equals to mx plus c. And this is your m, that is over here. So replace it over here. So therefore, I have y is equals to 3x plus c. Now, what we do is that we plug in any point in place of x and y, and we will evaluate c. Now, you can either plug in this point or this point. Let me show both of you. So one point is q, 1, 4. The other point is r, which is 5, 16. We have y is equals to 3x plus c. We have y is equals to 3x plus c. If I plug in q, this is 4, this is 3, this is 1 plus c. This is the x coordinate, that's the y coordinate. This is the x coordinate, that's the y coordinate. 4 is equals to 3 plus c, therefore c comes out to be 1. Similarly, if I plug in x and y, so this is 16, this is 3, this is 5, this is c. 16 is equals to 15 plus c. Again, c comes out to be 1. So it doesn't make a difference which option you choose. Just choose either option. So let me just write this. Choose either option. It could be this point, it could be this point. And then you get the same answer. So step 2 is done. What is step 3? Write down the equation. Now it's the obvious. So step 3, that is y is equals to mx plus c. We found m to be 3. We found c to be 1. Therefore, the equation is y is equals to 3x plus 1. And that is how this equation is found. So that is the concept of finding the equation of a line. I went through 3 different formats. The equation of the line is the same. And over here, the thing is that case number 1, slope and y-intercept is given. That is the obvious. All you have to do is plug and chug. Case number 2, points are given. You need to find the slope. You need to find the y-intercept. But y-intercept is very, very obvious. Whenever x coordinate is 0, this is the y-intercept. So let me write it down. Whenever x coordinate is 0, the y value is the y-intercept. So the y value is the y-intercept. And you just calculate the gradient. You find the gradient, you find the y-intercept, and then you write it down. Remember these 2 rules. Very, very important. This will come in handy. That is, line cuts the y-axis, x coordinate is 0. Line cuts the x-axis, y coordinate is 0. Case number 3, points given. Step 1, let me highlight it. Step 1, first find m, that is found over here. Step 2, that is then find c. So this is step 2, then find c. This was the important one. You plug in the value of m. You choose any of the point. You will get the same answer. Just choose any point. You don't have to show both of them. And step number 3, that is simply writing down the equation. So writing down the equation, step number 3, and that is the answer for this particular part. So that's how this thing is done. Let me just move ahead and let me give you an exam type question. So, exam type question. Uh, we have a line and the equation is 2x plus y equals to 10. Now, first of all, the line L cuts x-axis at point A. So this is point A. The line cuts y-axis at point B. Part A, find coordinates of A and of B. That's the first one. And let me write it down a little bit later. Part B, find area of triangle OAB, where O is the origin. Now, first of all, what I need to do is that let me use two colors. I'm using red for point A and blue for point B, and red for point A. Now, if I need to find A versus I need to find B, for A, since this is cutting at x-axis, therefore y coordinate is 0. And for B, it's cutting at y-axis, therefore x coordinate is 0. So just write the equation 2x plus y equals to 10, 2x plus y equals to 10. For y coordinate 0, if I make y 0, therefore 2x is equals to 10, x comes out to be 5. Similarly, if I make x coordinate 0, so 2x becomes 0, so 0 plus y equals to 10, therefore y comes out to be 10. Therefore, the coordinate of A is 5, 0. The coordinate of B is 0, 10. That is how you are getting it. Let me draw the line. Let me draw in this color, green color. And this is the y-axis. This is the x-axis. And just a rough diagram like this. So the line goes something like this. This is your A. That is 5, 0. Actually, it's the other way around. So the y coordinate is bigger. So let me just go like this, something like this. A is 5, 0. B is 0, 10. Y-axis, x-axis. A is the x-intercept. B is the y-intercept. Where x and y-axis meets, that is the origin. Now, why have I drawn this diagram? Because for part B, find the area of this triangle. What is the base? I can see that is 10 units. What is the height? That is 5 units. It's a right angle triangle. So the area is half base into height. That is half into 10 into 5. That comes out to be 5 into 5, which is 25 square units. So that is the answer for this part. And maybe they can ask one other point. Let me write it over here. Let me draw a box, and that will be the last point for today. That is find coordinates of midpoint of A and B. So A is 5, 0. B is 0, 10. Therefore, the coordinate of midpoint, that will be average. So this is 5 plus 0 divided by 2, 5 plus 0 divided by 2, which is 5 over 2. The coordinate of y coordinate, which is the average of y coordinates, which is 0 plus 10 divided by 2, which comes out to be 5. So the coordinate of M is 5 over 2, 5. It can also be written in decimals, 2.5, 5. That is the answer for this particular part. And maybe there is another part, something like this over here. Let me just draw this part over here. And let me just erase this line over here. That is, if I write the distance between A and B. So what is the distance between A and B? This is 5, this is 10. I can use Pythagoras theorem. I can write the magnitude of BA, that is 10 square plus 5 square under root. This is 100. This is 25 under root. That comes out to be root 125 units. That is the answer for this. And that finishes lecture number 1 of coordinate geometry. We will continue with this lecture tomorrow. Take care.